Hello and welcome to Centurion's Corner, and today we are reviewing from the Power Rangers Lightning Collection the Street Fighter crossover series with Morph, Ryu, Crimson Hawk Ranger. Now we picked up the Phoenix Ranger, which was Chun-Li, the other day, and this one is literally the first one I wanted when I saw it, and they're bringing out Ken as well, and I can't wait for that as well. So as you know, on the channel we don't really collect a lot of Power Rangers, but I am out there to actually pick these sort of like nostalgia type ones up as well. So we do some comparisons with some of the 6-inch figures that we do collect on the channel as well later on in the review. So looking really nice here. We've got him with his raised leg with a fire coming out, which is a bit strange. I mean, it's Ryu. You think he would do the Hadouken for sure. We've got Ryu up on the side here. On this side we've got an illustration of the Hawk Ranger. On this side, around on this side, we have just got Ryu, the morphed Ryu, Crimson Hawk Ranger, and on the back we got a nice kind of computer rendered kind of photo, I guess, of him up here as well. He's 6'1" apparently. We've got one of those stands that we got with Chun-Li, which wasn't great. We've got the Hawk. We've got that kind of fire effect that goes around his foot, and we also got the Hadouken. So I guess without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. So here he is outside the box. Obviously just inside it's all wrapped up in this sort of like non-plastic packaging. Unfortunately, like Chun-Li, again, we've got a lot of space here for other accessories, and for the price point of this figure I kind of expect to have a little bit more, to be honest with you, but we'll get him out for our first impressions, that's for sure. So over on this we've actually got some like Street Fighter kind of illustrations or pictures on the paper, which is quite nice. So at least it's not just like a plain bit of paper, to be honest with you. And here he is, looking pretty cool, looking a little bit kind of off-white in the middle. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to look at some pictures of that, to be honest with you, and we'll be back and we'll see you in a mo. So welcome back. We've been away, we're taking his pictures, and again, what can I say about this figure? Well, to be honest, I did go away to look at this sort of like stained white top that he does have. He looks more like an 80s retro Kenner figure than I thought he was going to be a bright white kind of Rio looking type guy. But nonetheless, I looked at official pictures, I looked at other people's as well, and it is supposed to be that way. So I was going to just literally go and bash off Hasbro, but it's not. It's supposed to be that way, which is fine. I think I would prefer it to be bright white all the way through, though, to be honest with you. But if that's the style of the actual design of itself, that isn't Hasbro's fault. That's the way that he was designed. So first of all, he comes with these sort of hands on here. So he does actually come with extra interchangeable hands. It comes with a fist. Again, quite nice sort of details on there, done in the red. And on this one as well, he's got that open palm, and I've got one of each on the figure, all done in a peg system with their own individual hinges on the side here. It actually comes with this kind of falcon, sort of like I guess like a fireball, because like the actual ball joint is here, which would fit onto this stand normally, so he can actually look like he's firing that at his opponent rather than just the fireball all the time. On this one here, we actually got this part. You've probably seen the pictures already that I put in the bit just before the review. I actually put it on his hand. I know Ken is the one with the flaming fist, but I just feel like because of Ryu, you know, he's the one that caused damage to Sagat. Why he wasn't given the sort of damaging uppercut, I have no idea. But yeah, so I just sort of add it to that. But you can add it to his foot as well. I've got another picture at the end of the video with that in display as well. And then last but no means least, we've got the actual fireball, which can actually be situated on top of this kind of stand. Again, like the Chun-Li one, it just doesn't click into place. So by the time you got the ball into place, this is popped off, and then you're trying to get that back in. It is a little bit annoying, but it's all in a sort of like a semi-translucent orange plastic there with a little bit of the flame look as well, so coming all the way through. It's at the right height, so if you want to do like a Hadouken and stuff like that, you can do so by getting him into those positions there with his hands. So taking a closer look at the figure, I mean, I just kind of wish he actually come with a Ryu head. They've done it with the Turtles, why couldn't they done it with this? But I guess it is a licenses kind of sort of part there. Hopefully the Jada toy ones that are coming out later this year could be interchangeable with these guys as well, so I would be looking at that once I get those figures. So taking a closer look at this guy, we can actually go through his articulation. So head wise, he can turn left, he can turn right, he can look down and up. He's got lower neck movement with the upper neck movement, so he's got a little bit of swagger in there. Full rotation at the arm, but obviously hindered by his sort of like shoulder guard here. He has got a beautiful butterfly joint in there, goes all the way around and it almost comes across the actual figure itself. He's got rotation at the upper arm there. He's got a double elbow joint with no sort of like pins there, and then we've got a rotation here at the wrist, and it's also on a hinge. We've got the diaphragm sort of swivel here. He can crunch a little bit and crunch a little bit back as well, and then he's got full crunch as well that comes all the way down this way and then crunches all the way back. Leg wise, we've got the drop pin at the hip. His legs can come up this far, they can go forward, they can go back. We've got upper thigh rotation there, we've got double knees with no pins as well, we've got boot swivel, and we've got ankle pivot and hinge. So the only thing I would say, he's a little bit loose at the legs. He feels a little bit like Breaker that I've been reviewing just before this. He's a little bit loose, but not as loose. So, but when you're trying to get it, you know, like when you're trying to, I think we're just kind of used to some figures being quite stiff, so when I pull it, I'm actually like moving it a lot quicker than I normally would. But when you get him into those poses, he's fine. He stands up absolutely fine. But yeah, his legs just feel a little bit loose. So I'm not too sure if that's actually just mine or that's an actual issue with the actual product itself. But looking at the actual figure itself, we can go through the details there. So we've got that kind of falcon look, looking pretty cool. The eyes coming through, which actually is a reminiscence of Ryu's bandana as well, coming around on there, or headband, should I say. So not too bad kind of gold. It's not as good as the gold that we actually got on the Shredder, but it's kind of really metallic and really shiny as well. That comes up across here. Underneath, we've got the lines and stuff there. I guess this is kind of sort of like a trying to be a bit like Gi-like, I guess. On here, we've got the Falcon coin with the Ryu sort of writing on the side here, and also on his kind of gauntlets as well. And then coming down to the rest of the legs, we've just got that kind of line sort of stripping all the way through the figure, and then down to his boots, giving off that kind of original kind of Power Ranger kind of look on there. So he actually looks really, really cool. I'm really glad that I got this guy. I really, really do dig the look, and I can't wait for the Ken figure as well that's coming out later this year. Not too sure on the Cammy one though. She just looks a little bit odd. Especially the colours that they have used, and I know that's not Hasbro's fault again, it's just the actual kind of way that they designed it, but I just feel like the colours are way off. So we can actually put him in line with Chun-Li here, and as you can see, the size comparisons on there are really nice. And just bringing in a standard Power Rangers as well, you can actually see the size comparisons on there, so you just feel a little bit skinnier than these guys. I feel like Ryu should be a little bit more beefier than these guys, or at least on the same kind of level there. I always feel like sometimes Ryu gets sort of like given that he's like really beefy, but I don't think he's like super beefy, but I do feel like, you know, he's a little bit larger than the standard kind of like teenager, that is for sure. And then we can bring in Luke Skywalker here as a little Dagobah guy. He always looks like a child compared to other lines now. He just looks so small. And then we can actually bring in let's bring in a classified. We can bring in Flint here, obviously as a sort of grown man and stuff like that. So this is the sort of size I would imagine Ryu to be like, to be honest with you. So thank you so much for joining me in this one. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this guy. You can subscribe, ding the bell, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.